You want a better relationship with your family and friends? Improve your communication. You want improved self-esteem and self-image, meaning everything that comes from you internally. Improve your communication. You want to increase your ability to make money as an entrepreneur? Improve your communication. You want to be able to connect with strangers on the street, on the go, at an event, anywhere you go? Improve your communication. When we want to have a better experience of life, your perspective on life, how you view circumstances, situations, and things, improve your communication. I'm basically boiling it down to communication being the bedrock of what a fulfilling, happy, and successful life can be made of. And this is why I've dedicated my life to studying it, mastering it, and then teaching it to other people and instilling it in my community, my business, my team members, and everybody else. Why? Because I realized a long time ago when I opened that door how important this is. And I really hope that that point in some of the examples that I gave in the beginning resonates with you to some degree. If it doesn't, this probably isn't the video for you. So much of what we deal with today, we struggle because we just need to improve our communication. And if you look at it that way, it will allow you to streamline improvements in your life. A lot of people come to me or are on the internet because of lack of motivation, lack of drive, lack of goals. They feel socially isolated. They feel alone. They feel like nobody understands them. They feel like there's no hope. Communication would solve all of those. Why? Well, for the people who suffer socially, if you improved your communication, you would be able to go out there and yourself create moments and experiences for people because you've mastered or you're on the path of mastering communication. A lot of people right now suffer because they understand that how they would like to express themselves in this world and live their life, it's lacking. They can't do that. Their internal representation of that, IR, doesn't represent the external representation of that. And because there's a gap there, they won't speak up. They won't do this. They won't do that. They suffer because they're not living out what they see in their mind's eye and how they would truly want to be. How many of you follow me are in sales, in real estate, some kind of entrepreneur, and you suffer because you can't connect with customers, you can't generate leads, your email marketing sucks, your text campaigns suck, you're afraid to make videos online, or you make them and you keep messing up and it's tough and you're like, you know what, forget it, or you're afraid of criticism and judgment and all that. Well, if you really committed to improving your communication, guess what? Most, if not all of those issues would vanish immediately. But you gotta really dedicate yourself to this thing. And I know I'm kind of hitting you with like a million different angles, but that's what it comes down to, y'all. My goal with this video is to facilitate the process for you to improve in many of these areas by simplifying it down to communication. Sales is communication, right? Going on social media, producing content is communication. Consuming it is a form of communication. Email marketing, communication. You dealing with your friends and family and your interactions are based in what? Communication. How you dress, how you walk is communication. All your internal thoughts and self-talk and dialogue is communication. Everything is communication. Me having these tattoos communicates something to people. My physique communicates something. Everything is communication. When you start seeing it this way and you guys start, and it doesn't even have to be something like, you know, you were a samurai and you dedicated your life to your sensei, right? I've taken communication with that type of ferocity and commitment to where like every single day I'm spending hours refining, developing my communication and teaching it to others. You don't have to take it to that level, but there's going to have to be some sort of at least prioritization from you in order for you to really see improvement. If you dedicated 30 minutes or an hour a day, that's something I do with my students, right? I say, go on the coaching platform if we don't have a live call that day and dedicate yourself every day to go through one lecture, take notes, and then commit through that lecture to implement something. So if this is you watching YouTube, from this video or another video, choose one thing from that video specifically in the branch of communication that you're going to apply and work on. Maybe it's improving your body language. Maybe it's initiating conversations with people more. Maybe it's really genuinely connecting with somebody and expressing interest. Maybe it's really working on being a great listener when I'm talking to somebody. Maybe another one is, you know what, I'm going to start being a little bit more assertive when I'm talking to people and when I'm selling. I'm going to ask for the order one more time. I'm really going to ask them again 2 or 3 times to meet with me or to get their information. Okay, the next day, I'm going to work on my linguistics. I'm going to work on changing some of these words, changing appointment to meeting, changing pre-approval for a buyer to, hey, what's your purchasing power? Because I understand the impact of changing a few different words and the response that I'm going to get when I communicate with somebody. Which, by the way, if you need some free resources, I have a ton below in the description for free. You can see them there along with my website and everything else. Point being, guys, what are you doing every single day? Communication is literally your salvation. Imagine if I was able to rewire, because this is a question I ask a lot of people. Imagine if I put a megaphone to your head and I announced your thoughts 24/7 to the world. Would you be proud? Would you be embarrassed? Would you try to cut the megaphone off so it would stop broadcasting your thoughts? Because if the world broadcasted my thoughts, a lot of people would think I'm crazy, but not in a weird way. Crazy as in, man, this dude like speaks so highly to himself. He must be arrogant, right? Like I already know how the public is going to perceive it, but this is my thoughts. And the reason I'm able to do these videos full stop like this without really making mistakes, which I know I do every once in a while, right? But also move through the world with a level of confidence, a level of clarity, very connected to my purpose, is because up here, I'm speaking to myself very highly. I'm not beating myself up, being hypercritical, because what most of you are doing, and again, leave a comment, if you put the megaphone, would people be embarrassed, right? Would you be embarrassed or would you be proud, right? And be honest, because a lot of people bullshit when it comes to this type of stuff, and that's not going to help you. You need to be honest so you can really assess where you're at and then make improvements. But that's what allows me to move like I move. Nationwide real estate team, right? 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. Huge network at my real estate company. Launching new divisions in my real estate team. Working with a real estate developer now. Right? Great relationship with my parents now because I developed my communication. All these things improve and have gotten better because of communication. But internally, this thing is working for me most of the time and only working against me a small portion of the time. And that's where people need to get real with themselves. Because most people today are even unaware. They're not even aware. They're completely unaware of the self-talk because they're in zombie mode. I call it floating, where you're not aware. You're not here in the moment. You're just watching something, or you're just kind of like, as an example, if you were driving, let's say you did a 20 or 30 minute drive. How much of that drive do you remember? Probably not very much. That means you're floating most of that time. And all the thoughts and self-talk that was happening in those moments, you don't remember it. And that's not a good place to be in. Now, I'm not saying we try to reach some Buddha level where you're literally aware 24/7, 365, right? If that's a goal, cool. But we need to become aware more often and make sure that we use this thing and that we're present. You hear it all the time. Be in the moment. Exactly. That's one way of expressing that, 100%. Be there. Be in the moment. Be there. Be present. Stop daydreaming. How many people can't even come to my videos, and because I don't have all the jump cuts and cuts every couple seconds, they can't even watch a full video with their attention? That's not my fault. That's the audience's fault. There's a reason I keep my format this way. If it ever blows up or it gets 10 million followers, I don't care. Because the people who have come to me and become students or work with me say, I like this format and I appreciate it. Good. That's who it's for. If you come here and you're like, man, think about this, right? Someone comes here and says, man, I really want to learn. And they can't even make it through a 10, 15, 20-minute video because there's not fancy pop-ups and all that. Is that really my fault? Now, it's okay if they say, well, my attention span sucks. I need some help. Cool. Then you can work on it. But it's up to them to start doing the exercises and things that they need to do to develop that attention span and be able to block things out and do something like this. And an easy thing you can start doing is reading. Pay attention. Can you read a page, 2 pages, 3 pages, 5 pages before you daydream and you forget what you wrote? Or can you actively engage and read the book and get it? I just did a post, right? I think I'm going to upload, or I did upload a short here where I showed the real secret, the real cheat code to success. And it showed one of my Milton Erickson books. I had a highlighter in it, right? And then I had my notebook and my pen, because when I read, I highlight certain things and then I take notes. I do that most days. I'm not perfect, but I do that most days because I know that that ritual enriches my life and makes it better. Imagine having these platforms like I've had for years. Every day I'm coming on YouTube, doing podcasts. I spend on average, just so you guys know, because I basically get paid to communicate now. I spend on average 2 to 4 hours a day training. That's not including what I do for free, meaning my coaching calls, working with my team, doing an event. Somebody paid me to do a training for the company. I do that 2 to 4 hours every single day. Now imagine if I stopped learning and I stopped getting better. Would I be able to do that? Would I be able to command a price? Would I be able to keep making money doing this? A lot of people have joined my nationwide real estate team, never having met me, just watching my videos on social media. Most, if not everybody in my coaching program right now. I just had 2 more people sign up to Distinguished Agent last week. Distinguished Agent is $5,000 for the year. These people have never met me, but just through this and listening to my communication said, you know what? Out of all the choices, I'm going to choose this dude to help me in my sales career or for whatever reason that they joined. Because people join for different reasons. Most of them, of course, are real estate agents. So I'm getting paid to communicate. Now, people might say, well, you only have 700 followers on YouTube now because you restarted, and you only have like 600 on Instagram or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Because if you associate just somebody's follower count with their authority, then you're falling into the social media trap. But see, that goes to show that there's always communication being had. More followers. This is why people will pay for followers. They know that communicates authority or expert automatically to most people, not to everybody, but to most people. So that communicates something, which is why people will go the roundabout way and pay for followers. And what's funny is a lot of you who watch my videos that I know watch other content creators, especially in the sales and real estate world, you'd be surprised who I know that bought their followers, but they'll never admit it to you. Pretty crazy and sad. Now, I'm not going to rat people out because that's not the type of person that I am, but it's sad because over the years, I've been made the villain when they're the villains, right? Pretty funny. So I've gotten to that point where I've realized, man, the better I become in communication, the more I'm going to get paid, the better leader I'm going to be, the more people are going to be attracted to my brand. And that's it. Because as we're moving forward into 2025 and beyond, growing a brand through these free platforms is something that you need to do. But in addition to that, myself, my team members, and everybody in my community still continues to do traditional stuff. And they're making 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, and some of them way more than that because they still know how to connect with other human beings. They're making phone calls, they're going door to door, they're meeting people, they're doing open houses. They're converting leads like crazy, the traditional way. But they're also now starting to see and realize the importance that, hey, I can take those communication skills now and translate them directly to the camera. Because now when they get on camera, they sound better, they look better, and they're more polished. I don't care about all the fancy editing and mics. That's become more accessible to people and cheaper. That's why you see it more. However, a strong, polished communication set and skill set, you can't buy that. You can't buy that. And I'm at a point where I say, put me on stage with anybody. I'll go up against anybody. That doesn't mean I'm going to win every single time, but that's where my level of confidence is with my communication skills. Put me up against anybody. I don't care. I will beat them. We do speeches. Let the audience decide who's the best one. See, but I want you watching this to get to this level of confidence, because if you did have this level of confidence, then what? You think you'd be afraid to make a call or apologize to somebody or confront somebody or make that, tough phone call or have that tough conversation maybe with your family that you were hesitating to have? Would you be afraid to stand up for yourself? Would you be afraid to go door to door or host an open house or create content online or go after your goals and aspirations without apology? Would you, if you had that level of confidence? You know you wouldn't. Now the question becomes is, what price are you willing to pay to acquire that? Are you going to dedicate yourself every day? Are you going to start being a better student? Are you going to get the coaching and training that you need to take it to that level? Only you can decide that. No one can force it. Many people like me can show you the door and even open it for you, but you got to be the one that walks through. But the point I'm attempting to hammer these last 15 minutes that we've been here is you need to see the importance of this communication. When we break this thing down, it's incredible what I've done with communication, just with what I've done in the real world and then through social media. I've made millions of dollars over the years now, making content and talking to people in real life, whether through real estate and all the online stuff. It's crazy. The developer that I'm working with now, part of it was because of social media. The other part was my communication skills. The partner of the developer came to one of my networking events that I hosted at my office here in Miami for Team BC and this is the real story, and was so impressed with me that it said, dude, I got to present you and introduce you to the developer. I think he needs somebody just like you, which then set up the meeting for me to nail it and get that position. I got a whole project to myself, first development ever that I'm representing. And compared to the other teams, we're performing the best right now. So he's already proposing future projects to us in different states. This first project is in Georgia. I've added the link below. You've seen me share the bciacapital.com website, right? That's a project. That's the first project that we're doing. Check it out. Condos for under $70,000. Super cool. New investment. A lot of people don't know about it. Selling very well. Talking about now doing a project in New York and a bunch of other places. I'm excited. But I got that through my hustle and my communication skills. Because in that event, it was about an hour and a half or 2 hours. I spoke for over an hour, just myself. No script, no nothing. My whole real estate team was built through people who followed me on social media. And I first dipped into my coaching program for it. And before we made the move, and I had to put everything on pause back in 2023, I had over 50 people on the team. We made almost $3 million in commission that year as a team. Now, I've been in the rebuilding phase in 2025. We've added another 6 or 7 people. I'm launching a new division. I'm about to incorporate the new development division for the top performers on my team to start working with me and this developer on new projects. All that recruitment and all that through social media. All of our meetings, most of them virtual with the people who are out of state. So I have people who are out of state, and instead of choosing people that would be local to them, they're choosing to work with me and ride with my brand because of the way that I communicate. Because there's other reasons, right? But it boils down to that. It's how it was communicated to them and how they receive it and then how they perceive it. And then when they come to a conclusion, they say, no, this is the better option. In a world right now where everyone says, oh, I want the local in person, they're choosing me. And some of these people are across the country from me. That's how valuable they see this to be. But I'm telling you guys, this isn't to brag or, oh, I'm so cool. It's to show you the power of communication. I've been speaking nationally and internationally for years. Back in 2015 to 17, 18, almost 10 years ago now, I did a speaking tour with all the guys from $1 Million Listing. We spoke all over the US. We got flown out to Australia. I went first class, got paid to speak, spoke in front of thousands of people. To date, my biggest crowd is 5,000 people. And I went up there without a prepared speech and crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. But my goal is I want to speak in front of 1 million people. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. But that's a goal of mine. This is communication. I was sitting on stage with people who have been on TV because my brand grew and my communication skills allowed my brand to grow and people to admire me and like me and all that stuff. And it got me on stage with people who are world famous. I've met them all. I've toured. I've done over 1,000 speeches now over the years. Again, if you're new to me, this may be new to you. I've been online now for 12 years, 12 and a half years. And the bedrock of my growth and my brand has been communication. Hopefully the point got drilled into you, but you got to step up and do something. Take advantage of the resources that you have, even the free stuff on YouTube, my podcast and all that stuff, Supreme Being, you can find it. I'm telling you, if you guys one day see what I saw 12 or 13 years ago, then everything I've done will make sense to you. And then you'll finally start dedicating yourself at a level that other people will look at you and be like, well, why are you doing that? But you'll know. And that's all that matters. All right. Anything else I can do for you, let me know. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the thumbs up, leave me a comment, push for the algorithm. All right. See you guys.